Where is your phone? Okay.
What? No, I didn't say that.
Oh, did I say that?
No. I said it, but just so I could keep an eye on time, but it's all good. I've got it.
I
It's on
love it.
silent, I promise.
I don't know if we're my. Hey, it's 12 o'clock p.m. Welcome to Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. We are on time for the first time and maybe the next time as well. I'm here with some of my favorite people. I am here with Kai from Unsubscribed, also Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. Hi, Kai.
Hey.
Hey. And then I'm here with Jay, who happened to be on my podcast, Public Access America.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep. Yeah, well, I was going to say Public Access Anonymous. I don't even think that's a word, right? But it might be a new podcast, Public Access Enemas. Come and join
I'm
us
taking
now.
that.
I'm terrified of where that could go.
I'm taking
Right?
that.
And all of that in Jay's introduction. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing really good. I'm Jason from Public Access Pod on TikTok and Instagram. Public Access America is my podcast. And Jay, give me a little brief synopsis of your time on the show. How did it go? Were you comfortable?
I was very comfortable. I like talking topics. On TikTok, you kind of get pigeonholed into specific topics, and for good reason. Obviously, you're there to advocate, but sometimes you can't go as deep as you want to go because of trolls and mass reporting or blah 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 blah. But I feel like we got to talk, like we talk a lot about on this show, intersectionality. Yeah. We got to actually get into a little bit of that intersectionality between disabled and poverty and things like that. So I really enjoyed being on the show. Thanks for having me.
No problem. It actually started a new format of conversation. I want to talk to other people about their communities and see what's going on. And I want to see if the same answers come up around the country. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Hey, Kai.
What's up?
You had a special guest on Unsubscribe.
So but I don't really like him that much. He's not really the most interesting. He kind of sucks, actually. No, so on Tuesday, an episode came out called Jason Sucks because I'm a great friend. And I was just so excited to sit down and talk with him. And it was a very lovely conversation. Go listen to it, I guess, if you haven't, because it's fucking mint.
Right. I babbled like crazy. It's like an hour and 25 minutes. But I was thinking about something you said last night and that Jay had commented on as one of his favorites was people that have these stories that go nowhere. Right. And listening to the podcast, I realized that I have these stories, but I do sum up with like this classic wisdom statement. So I was kind of happy with how that turned out. You know what I mean?
I need to learn how to do that because I get lost in the middle of myself. I'm starting to become slowly an old man where it's just like you start and it's just like, where was I going with this?
Right.
I know there was a point. I just can't remember it.
Right.
So I got to learn how to do that.
Pretty sure I said that in the episode. I'm pretty sure I was like, I started to say a thing and I don't remember. So I'm gonna not.
That's funny. Like I was telling Kai last night, I'm gonna start acting like I have dementia before I have dementia. That way people just don't count on me to remember things.
Like that's just classic Jason. It's all right.
Right.
It's fine.
So today we were gonna talk about something that you said in episode we did with Ezrick and Marie about how TikTok has changed your perspective on the people around you. Like, I don't want to go as far as say changed your life, but in a way it kind of did, in letting you know that you're not alone in this world. You're not, because for many of us, we're the token disabled person in our group,
right?
You know, and then so we get the information of what we are and who we are from people that aren't disabled telling us their perspective on us.
Very
and
true.
Then suddenly you're on TikTok and it's like, what the hell? All these blind people, and they're so amazing. Like, it's incredible the diversity of content put out by Blind Talk, and it's your topic. So I just wanted to know if you'd like to start that off and tell me about that.
Yeah. When we were talking last week about that, a lot of it was a breath of fresh air with that conversation between Marie, Ezrick, and me, because a lot of times when you are like before Blind Talk, the only other person I knew that had my condition was my brother, and him and I, because you don't really get a manual of this is what you're supposed to do. This is not what you're supposed to do. This is what's common. This is not what's common. So you have to figure out a lot of it on your own. Figuring out how to, like, okay, am I weird for doing this? Am I the only person that struggles with, using a credit card machine? Is this just my failure? Like, did I not learn what I was supposed to learn in O&M from this? Like, did my teacher fail me? Does anybody else not use their cane when they're in an apartment complex for whatever reason, or in their house at all? A lot of times you feel like, especially when people start to make you feel like you're faking because you are using certain things. Like, I seen a video the other day of something that I do, and I didn't know anybody else did it. So shout out to Tim Blind. He talked about being in a McDonald's, and he has his cane, and he put his cane down to go get something to drink because his O&M skills allow him to be able to navigate, and like the looks on people's faces that they give when, like, he moves without his cane. Like, suddenly he put down his gimmick, or he put down his lying stick or whatever, and now he's able to just move around no problem. And I'm like, I do that too, because in a McDonald's restaurant, like, it's small as hell in most of them, and like trying to sweep in between tables and try not to hit people, like, that's a lot. So sometimes I'll just use my O&M to kind of get around, and seeing him do that too, it's like, oh, it's not just me. So it kind of made me feel a little bit more comfortable in my skin when it came to stuff like that. And I feel like that's what TikTok has done for me as like for my disability. Like, I feel like it's made me more comfortable in my skin. Sorry, I had a thought I was going to share it, but try not to like prattle on too long.
No problem. I was thinking, like, being in a McDonald's, I do that too, but I'll watch where the kids are and the people are and who's in there. I'm not like, if it's lunchtime and there's like 60 people in there, I won't do what that guy did.
Right.
But if it's just a few people, yeah, then I can grab chair to drink, but a lot of times I don't even order a drink that I need to get out of the fountain because I don't want to do it. Because I've wound up with like the weirdest flavors. Why do they put like the similar flavor that I love, and then right next to it the similar color of the thing I hate?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, people don't understand that. Like, I know for me, I usually go for a bottle drink myself if I can, but like most places, like the Popeyes around here, they don't do bottle drinks. They only do fountains. So what I'll usually do is I'll try to sit as close to the fountain as possible, so it's like an easy transition from one spot to another. But if I can't, because somebody's already sitting there, then I already know, like, I've mapped out in my head, like, all right, well, I need to go here, I need to turn here, and I could do that without a problem.
Right.
Also, what people don't consider is, if you're taking your cane up to the fountain machine, where the heck is because you're going to need one hand to hold the cup, one hand to like make sure you know where you are. So like, where's your cane going to be? But that's not something that's usually thought about. So, you use your O&M to do what you can. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it's nice to see that you're not alone. I think with a lot of things, with being on Blind Talk, at least with certain creators, it's nice to see that you're not alone.
Yeah, that's a good point. And one of the first people I actually found was Kai. So I thought that was amazing, because I didn't relate her as a blind creator. She was just so funny and hilarious, and it was video in before it started to dawn on me, like, wow, there's blind people out there and they're cool. Like, right? Like, the stigma of us is just us like simpering in a corner or something, and then you see Kai and you're like, she's cool.
Yeah, she's all right.
And I know, Kai, you don't have as much of a story tied with TikTok, but I know you have feelings about it. So I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
How's it affected you?
Well, let's see. So I'll try to keep this short-winded.
No, we got 51 minutes, so go ahead.
Hell yeah.
Draw it out.
Well, it all started on a cold day in 1998. Okay, so basically, I was, it was in the midst of the pandemic, and they were talking about how TikTok is evil, and they were also talking about how TikTok is addictive, and I didn't really listen to the people who talked about TikTok being evil, because it was just all old people, and I don't give a fuck what they think. So I had made a bunch of jokes, like every time I have, literally on my podcast, someone was like, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I was like, I don't use TikTok, I'm an adult. Which, looking back on that, I'm like, wow, Kai, you're a bitch. But anyway,
initially. Who
Yeah,
cares?
sorry about that, by the way. I'm sorry, but I did end up downloading TikTok so I could just scroll through because I was losing my goddamn mind. And I saw this dude and he was blind and I cannot remember his name because I suck, but he was
Mm,
so funny. And I was like, I don't even know how he showed up on my feed because like I didn't search blind or anything like that. I was just scrolling.
right.
And I was like, let me scroll through this dude's videos. They're really funny. And then another blind person popped up. Can't remember who that was. Um and then I guess because I kept liking their videos, more TikTokers came up. So Jay came up, and I think one of them was like, stupid things to say to blind people. And I liked
Right.
it because I was like, oh my God. And I want to say I stitched one of his videos. I can't, it was probably one where it was like, how many fingers am I holding up? Or can I take, no, I think it was like, what are the dumbest questions that people ask you? And I was like, can I have your glasses so I can see what you see or something stupid. And I just kind of went off. And then I saw Brittany and hers was like, hey, how do you wrap presents as a VIP? And I had made a joke
Wow.
and I was like, it's called throw it in a bag and say, bitch, you're lucky I fucking got you anything. And then I was like, let me make my own instead of stitching their videos. So I asked, if you're blind or visually impaired, do you ever get sick of people asking, what can you see? Because they
That was my
always
first
ask
stitch,
in like
yours.
a way, well, what
Yeah.
can you see? Fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I want to say that was when people started stitching it, and I was like, oh shit, like people see it. And then I was like, oh, it's a little community. It's actually a big community, but I was like, it's a community. And then I just kind
Right.
of started talking to these people, and then Shy told her TikTokers that I was funny, and I was like, what?
Right.
So yeah, no,
Shai's adorable. She's one of
Shy
the
is
first
so
people
sweet.
I met on TikTok too. And I was so surprised when I was like, do you want to be on the show? And she was like, yes. And I was like, oh my God, really? Her and Brittany. I was like, they said yes. And Caitlin, I was like, what? And then Jay, I was like, what? Dave, you, Ezrick? I was like, I thought Ezrick was the biggest guy on TikTok for a while because that's one of the first people I met. And I was like, well, TikTok's showing me like the biggest people, of course, the most popular. Ezrick, of course. I don't know why he's popular, but I'm going to follow him.
But that's the good thing about, because I was like Kai, like I never once searched blind people
Right.
on TikTok, because prior to TikTok I didn't really watch blind people. Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, that person's a big name, oh, that person's a big name. I'm like, they are? Okay, if you
Mm-hmm.
say so. Like I don't know, but like I think I Google searched something, and I guess this is the one time where it's like, Google spying on you is basically a good thing, because if it didn't, because my first few people were like um Lucy Edwards, and then Blind Kitchen Lady, and then
Mm.
Haley Hall, and Blind Press, and then Brittany. Brittany was like the last one I seen before I started making videos. And I remember telling my wife, like, I think I'm going to do this. And she's like, you sure? Like, you really should. Like, you've been looking, because I wanted to be a YouTuber for something else, and
Right.
I never did it. And she was like, you should do it. And she's like, you should talk about your condition. I'm like, hell no. And she was like, why not? I'm like, because I don't know what else I'd say. Because at that point, it was just like, I didn't think I had anything worth saying at that point.
Right.
Um, so like my whole like first 5 videos are like, yeah, if y'all care, this, and this. And then when people started watching, like it becomes surprising. But one of the good things that you'll get oftentimes is that people will also tell you the same thing. Like you'll start to realize it's not just a you thing with like, hey, I feel more comfortable in my skin. I've gotten
Right.
people message me like, hey, you've helped me deal with this. Like you've helped me transition in this. Like you've been a resource. And I'm like, how? Like I don't understand personally, but like the value of sharing your story helps
Mm-hmm.
people so much that it becomes like because you never really know like what nuance or facet or detail of your personal story can really help somebody else. So
Right.
I think that's where you become more comfortable in your skin, and then you start to realize as you venture out into certain things, like our community kind of ranges from um, people who are parents, people who are Paralympic athletes, people who are professionals, like people who are aspiring professionals. You get a lot of mix if you're looking for something in our community, except for drivers. I don't think you can find drivers in our community, but if you're looking for anything else in our community, you're guaranteed to find it at some point or another.
Wow.
What about
Shout out.
surgeons? Can you find blind surgeons?
I would go to just watch. I'm going to look to see, but I guarantee you, if there's one out there, I'm going to go watch, because when that thing goes, well, that must be one heck of a magnifier. I'll just say that. That must.
I
be
mean,
one
you know that girl who's like, how to blind people, and then she just takes her cane and just starts. You gotta feel for the organs.
Yes,
It's really
yes.
fucked up.
Yes.
Well, let me put a positive spin on that. Perhaps there's a blind or visually impaired person programming the robot computer that's, doing your surgery.
Could be.
Boom.
But I'd like to see them hold the actual like scalpel.
Yeah, me too.
I like
That
to
would
see
be
them actually hold
classic.
the scalpel. I love those videos though. Like I like sarcastic. First off, in blind talk, I like people who are confident, but I also like people who are funny, because if you're sad all of your videos all of the time, like
Right.
I just can't. But like if you show some type of like Kai, when I found you, the thing that stuck out for me about you is that you actually had a personality. Because I went through a period of time where like I was following everybody back, so I started to see everybody's content, and I started to go down some people who most of them aren't on TikTok anymore, thankfully, because either that or I just don't see them. But like,
wrecked.
It started to go down through like the lack of personality well, where it's just like, hi, I am blind.
Right.
This is my shoes. The end. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
And then I found Kai, and Kai was just full of personality, like an actual, like, I'm here, forget y'all, like I got this, like I'm going to do me. And she was the first person I actually seen venture outside of like when you started asking about music, I was like, wait, she does music. I'm like, I do music.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see. Like you started to see that people had interest in other things. So that's the cool thing. When you find somebody that actually has a personality and who's proud of who they are, like they're not mousy about themselves. That's a good thing to find on TikTok.
I love that. I did tell Kai, I was like, I like you because you speak a few of the languages I speak, music and podcasting and blindness and just living alone and knowing assholes in life. It's like there's a lot of communication there. And I remember people that were like, don't look at my hair right now, but I want to talk about blindness and it's like, no, if it's not in the first 3 seconds, you're not going to get my like just to get my like, But then Marie, right, she did that how do blind people drive thing, and I lost it. I cracked up over that,
putting the cane out in the front of
yeah. And then I realized, like, yeah, blind people can be funny. And then Brittany with her fashion and makeup, and honestly, that blew my mind that blind people were doing their own makeup. Like, I didn't, as a blind person, I couldn't even conceive doing it. So I just wanted to know more about that. And then how are you matching colors? Because the colors to me aren't the same colors that people see, you know what I mean? So how is she matching these reds to reds and all this stuff? And I'm still amazed by Brittany and her independence that way, I'm
still frustrated she won't switch to Android, but that's a different conversation. But like I've watched more, and this is weird, but it's just like I support them because you're out here trying to do something. There are so many like fashion / beauty blind creators. Like there's a plethora of them that are out here doing their thing, and I'm actually very proud of them. What I'm starting to find is that there's actually a few other therapists out here for me, and I'm just like, wait, we could start our own practice, y'all.
That's
like
we
could
cool connection.
Start our own practice. And it's nice to just find people out here who do what you do, because at least they can relate to the same struggles of what you do. Right. That you go through all of the time. I think that's something that's a positive in that community. So for this is almost like, I feel like we're advertising TikTok, but at the same time, it's like I'm not trying to advertise TikTok. I'm more so trying to advertise Blind Talk in a sense. Like, right. If you hear this and you're not a part of the Blind Talk community and you want to find people who are good mentors, role models, people you can hang with, people you can laugh at, Blind Talk. I strongly suggest that.
Yeah. What I do is I go immediately to their profile and then I go to their Instagram and then I follow them on Instagram. So that's me. So I was on TikTok And I found TikTok because more like Kai. Well, it was because of that grandma, the grandma that started the viral thing to sell Trump tickets for Oklahoma. And then like 100,000 tickets were sold. And Trump was like, I'm so popular. And then 5,000 people showed up and he got mad. And he was like, don't go on TikTok. And I was like, well, now I'm going on TikTok. Like, that's what it is. And then yeah, I started just following everybody, like everybody, bouncing boobs to bearded guys telling satire stories. It didn't really matter. And then I duetted a Micaiah Bryant video about her saying she'd rather have more money than more time, and I was just so bummed by that. And then they canceled my account, whatever it is, and I was bummed. And then I was like, well, who cares? It's just an app. There's going to be another one in 2 months. But then I started realizing like I missed that community. Like I had to set up another one because I was missing what Jay was saying. And even wow.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know, but why didn't it keep going? No.
Fucking remix.
So, but I missed everybody. Wow. Sorry.
I can't fucking
Mouth farts, words.
What is happening?
Oh, Jay, now you're gonna do my in-person. Oh, this is awesome. I love the two together. Hey, everybody. Nope. Okay, hold on a minute.
I can't. I just need a minute.
So I started going back on TikTok, but then I realized that unlike you all, I don't really share my story. Like I think that's the difference and why I don't have as many followers is because you've all opened up honestly and like put your face on TikTok, whereas I just repurpose video from podcasts. And I think there's a difference in the content that we all make. I think you all put yourself out there and people notice that. I don't do that. I don't do that. But I'm learning
Is there a reason why you don't want to do that?
I'm a very private person,
Gotcha.
and I just don't offer information because people use information generally to hurt me or plan around me. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't like sharing it. If I tell somebody what I can't see, then suddenly that's what they're using all the time.
Yeah.
I can't see clear glasses. I just bought 20 clear glasses. Thanks. So I tend not to do that, but I really wanted these conversations to go further than what I was hearing on TikTok.
I get it. Like I think that's one of the hardest questions for many people because I've answered that question. At first, I was very hesitant to, and I mentioned why I wasn't. Like I know the second you tell somebody what you can't see, they immediately want to test, like they want to put you through the ringer. Like, all right, can you not really see it? Like, is he really going to break this? Is he really going to do this? Some people are just like, but then at the same time, I got more comfortable. I don't know if it's the fact that I don't feel like I'm ever going to meet most of Blind Talk in person. So it's just
Right.
like, well, it just is what it is. But I think part of it is just for, I guess, just getting comfortable with certain people. Because when I imagine Blind Talk, like I know there's like thousands of us, but like I can only imagine like a handful of us because those are the ones you see more so on a daily basis, like the vocal ones. So I feel like I've talked to some of them so often that I'm starting to get more comfortable with them so that I can actually express like this is what I can and can't say.
I love that. I feel like it's a daisy chain, like people taking and taking their spin on somebody else's take and spin on somebody else's take and spin until it gets to the people that are just starting to learn about their disability, but are excited that there's a community there, like
Yeah.
the three of us have put decades of thought into our blindness, and some people just, they don't, like they've had caregivers through the process and they just don't have to do the same struggles that we do. Like Kai living on her own, that had to be scary for me. That was scary. You know what I mean? To be like, oh, I have a bill to pay and I don't know if I'm going to be able to see everything, and just all like, what happens if there's cockroaches everywhere and I can't see them? Like, am I going to eat cockroaches? Like, there's the weirdest things. I had a maintenance guy come into my apartment and he was fixing one of the shelves, and he was like, "Hey, bud, these blueberries are really moldy." And I was like, "Damn, I was gonna have blueberry pancakes tomorrow. Thank you." And there's these little, yeah, who notices mold on bread without somebody that has eyes telling you, right? And so it's so freaky. But then also, when you survive your first month, it's like, I did it and I can do that again.
Yeah. I wish I had that opportunity to like live on my own.
No, you don't.
To get that. Trust me, I would love to have had like at least a month or so to live on my own. But I've always had like a roommate. I always had a roommate at some point or another. Like I moved out of my parents' house when I was like 22.
Gotcha.
And I've always had like a roommate, which is my roommates have always been cool. It's just that one moment, that one opportunity to kind of live by yourself. It would have been nice to have.
Right.
So I'd love to know about that experience. Like, do you feel the freedom of like living on your own, or like, I know there's anxiety, but once you get past like that 30-day mark, like, is it more comfortable?
That's you, Kai.
Oh, is that me? Okay.
Wait, are you past the 30-day mark yet?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Yes, it is terrifying because of all of those things, because I think about it all the time. I'm like, if I hear like a fly or something in my house, I'm like, well, I hope it leaves one day. I hope when I walk out the door it comes out with me, because what the fuck am I gonna do about it? Not a goddamn thing.
Right.
Or I'll turn on the fan and be like, maybe it'll be attracted to the light and fly into the blade. I don't know, something. And I'll just sit there and think about it for a while, and I'll think, somebody else would have done something by now. And then I'll just go in my room and get on my computer, like it's these little things that kind of bug me a little bit. But I'm like, okay, but I could have someone here who would swat the fly, but then would also have to comment on everything I say and do. And that's just not worth it. I would rather have, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to will it into my home. So I'm going to just shut the fuck up. But it is very freeing. And so far, nothing detrimental has happened. Knock on wood. Fucking.
Yeah. It sounded like metal, but okay.
You know what? Shut the fuck up. Shut your damn mouth.
Well, Kai, you should always know that no matter what happens, you have support right here. So we can video with you and say, maybe there it is. We're all here to help each other.
All of us just right up on the screen, like, I see it.
Yeah.
Just tell the fly that rent is due on the 1st. That's what I used to do.
Right.
My roommate wasn't there. I used to tell him, like, look, I can't get you out here, but if you're going to be here, rent's due on the 1st. I expect your half, splitting this in 3 ways. But yeah, like I guess that's the nice thing of kind of like having a community, just being able to talk to people that kind of get what you go through. Right. And can make jokes with you comfortably, because I'm tired. I don't like people who feel like they have to be on eggshells to make a joke.
Right.
So I like hearing the jokes. When people can actually, when they're actually funny, because there's the other side of that. Which should not be the
well. That's I would actually. Where was that? Where was that when I was talking, like, what is the range of teasing, right? Like, everybody gets teased. Your brother teases you, your family, friends, schoolmates, they all tease you. And there's a realm in which a blind person can be teased. Right. But yeah, what is it where, like, I can be teased by somebody that knows the limit of what to tease me with, but I don't know how to explain to other people, like, I'm not playing the victim if you have a bad joke and I call you out on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to let everything go by. I can speak up for myself, but yet that was a good joke. And how do I tell the guy next to the guy that just told a bad joke that's a funny joke,
Oh, that's so easy. That is so easy.
Cool.
The way that I would describe it to people is if you are making a joke and you have hate in your heart, it's a shitty joke. Or if you are singling a person out and you're specifically making a joke at their expense that they cannot be a part of. Like, if someone makes a blind joke to me, I won't be offended if it's funny. But, if it's a joke that I cannot participate in, if it's like, hey, let's all make a spectacle of her because she's incapable of doing something, and you're trying to make me feel lesser, get wrecked, get fucking bent, it's just, there's a way that you can do it. Like, I'm not going to pick at you. You know what? Maybe it's not as easy as I thought it would be to explain.
No, you explained it. What I was thinking while you were saying that was, don't pick on me for something I can't change about myself. Like if my zipper's down, laugh at me all day long, but don't pick on me because I can't see something in a crowd, you know?
Right. Yeah, like the 5-second rule. If I can't change it in 5 seconds, there's no need. There's no fucking need.
Right. But if you're gonna walk into a wall and go, "Oh God, Kai," then that's funny to me.
Right. I feel like that's fair. Yeah, if I shoulder check something, I'm like, bitch. Like it's
right.
Just, there's a way that you, or because someone could be like, wow, that door frame was really being a bit or something. Like there's a way you can do right. There's a way you can do it. Like I had ran into a trash can or something, and he just looked back and goes, "I'll beat it up." And I was like, those are friends, you know what I'm saying?
Right. They know the limits. They know they've been around you long enough to know what limit it is because they've gone too far and you've been like, nope.
So yeah.
I think it's easier with friends. Like I've had some friends, like I had a nickname. Me and another friend who had a different issue. We were called like a wrestling tag team. They called us the Destructos because like anytime we got near something big or like something that you could run over, we were going to run it over. Not intentionally. They was like, y'all should just be tag team because you're just going to run over everything. And I've always been a big guy, so it's like most objects don't usually stand a chance if I'm going at like full speed. So like every time I would run into something, they would just kind of do the Stone Cold me. I'm like, I did not do that intentionally, but like those are people that like like they have your best interest at heart and they're just picking with you, right? So like for some strangers, it's like you can kind of tell when somebody's laughing with you versus when somebody's laughing at you. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's the kind of the fine line. Like if I'm making a joke about somebody else's site, I'm laughing with you. Like I'm laughing 9 times out of 10 at something that I struggle with too. But like if somebody's just genuinely just going to like, ha ha, like your life sucks. Like, well, never mind.
Right.
No, if I fall down on the ground and I have grapple in my knees, I don't want to be picked on right at that moment. You know what I mean? I'm frustrated and pissed off with myself and the surroundings. And that's part of it is like people have to know I can be upset with the situation, but not the people in it.
Yeah.
And they have to learn that. And there's a time and place. Like an hour later, when I'm feeling good and laughing at myself, going, man, what an idiot. That's when you can join in. You know?
Right. I feel like you can tell, if someone falls or bumps into something and they have a visible look of frustration, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. You don't have to say anything. Just shut the fuck up. And I guess a lot of people don't get that, which I don't understand why not. Because I feel like if you can tell that I'm visibly embarrassed about whatever just happened, or I've already had a shitty day and I'm frustrated, and you decide at that moment to crack a joke, especially because they're never funny.
Right.
I'm like, not only was your delivery whack, not only was your tone annoying to the ear, like you're gonna get an ass whooping that wasn't even for you. Yeah. I mean, not physically because I can't fight, but I will rip into your soul.
Audience.
Yeah,
your joke was delivered to a hostile audience that didn't want to hear it.
Right, like there's definitely, no.
Yeah, but that's why they say tragedy plus time equals comedy. You have to actually give me time to actually like let this happen. Like I've had bad things happen. And then like my friends will bring it up like weeks later when I'm like, okay. And they know I'm like, okay.
Right.
They'll make a joke. Like they'll wait that time out. Like, hey man, remember the time you almost fell over this? I'm like, yeah, man, did we have to talk about, I'm laughing with them about it because again, time has passed. Like I've had a chance to process this. I'm okay. There didn't have to be any trips to the ER or something, but like, that's usually the difference. But and like,
it kind of equals out is with your friends, right? You have a story, but a week or two later, now it's just a story among all your friends' stories, and you can share those equally. It's not like you're being singled out because you always have the opportunity to go, yeah, I fell, but remember when you do that, but you can't in the moment,
Right. And that's my favorite because then I'll be like, and you can see, so what the fuck is your excuse? Exactly. And then what are they gonna do? You can't do shit. You can't say nothing.
Oh man, boom, and there Kai plays the victim just to win an argument.
Just call me. Oh yeah.
Sorry, that was a segue. So how do you feel about lettuce, Kai?
Oh, you know what? I heard can suck my dick.
Yeah, nobody likes iceberg. I'm a romaine guy myself.
That's what I'm saying. If you walk up to me and you've got an iceberg in one hand and a pop soda in the other, I think you are just the trashiest person.
Wow. Pop
Trashiest.
sodas. I love pop soda. What kind of pop soda do you drink, Jay?
What is pop soda?
Pop soda? How do you say it?
Just soda. What is so I know it's different all across the country. I'm thinking
Right.
like pop soda is a brand. So like in my head, I'm like racking my
no.
head, like, what is pop soda?
Pop soda.
But
Like
like
Dr. Pepper, Sprite.
Yeah.
okay, so soda. Got it. So
Pop soda.
I'm like, okay, I was trying to figure out Sprite. Sprite is
What,
like my
what do you call it? Soda pop?
no, just soda.
Pop soda.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
mm-mm.
That's
So
weird.
like really?
Yeah, what the hell?
Two out of the three of us say pop soda, but you don't. That's weird. I wonder if it's a Philly thing.
Okay, how's your
It's a regional
soda?
It's a regional thing. Because I know I think in like in North Carolina they call it Coke. Like everything is a Coke.
Yeah.
And then I've seen people literally get in arguments like it's either soda or pop. I've never heard it like I've heard it called soda pop, but like that was like decades ago.
Wow.
Like other than that, I've just heard it called one or the other. But like with soda, Sprite
Gotcha.
or orange cream.
Orange cream. What's orange cream?
They basically mixed vanilla cream and orange.
Yeah, but who mixes it?
Who does it?
I want it now. What? Why hasn't Dave told me about this?
No, it's called Days. I think it's my wife is probably screaming if she's watching this episode right now from the other room.
Oh, she is. She's in the chat.
She knows the name of the soda because we get it from our corner store all the time, but it's like an orange cream. Frank's does it. Days does it, I believe, but it's fantastic. It's fantastic. But it only comes in 2 liter.
She commented Destructo.
Yeah, she knows all about that. She knows all about that. But if I start calling out some of her nicknames, she wouldn't because there's some there's some other stories I could tell. So I'd leave nicknames out of the chat, hon. She's gonna come through the door. I guarantee.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's gonna put you in a headlock.
Yeah,
again. Be careful.
She just screamed soda in the chat. Just soda exclamations.
That's a Philly thing. Philly.
No, I'm Jay and I drink soda.
I drink soda. I don't add pop to it. That's too much.
What do you need pop for? What do you need pop for? I don't understand that.
Pop soda. That's funny.
Pop soda. Pop sounds like the brand name. Like drink this soda by Pop. Like, nah.
And honestly, I think Dave is the de facto answer to this. We need to know. But I'm kind of upset that I didn't learn about orange cream because that's like a creamsicle.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
It's
delicious.
It's fantastic. I think it only comes in 2 liter form though. So like if you get like a 2 liter soda, which in my heyday I used to drink like there were 20 ounces, which is a terrible idea. But that used to be one of the ones I used to get all the time, and I love it. I love it.
Wow. Do you drink soda, Kai?
I have not drank soda in years, honestly. I sometimes if I'm putting alcohol in it, I'll drink it, but that doesn't even happen a whole lot. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah. Okay. Me neither. I drink water.
Me too.
I think the last pop soda I had was like a Dr. Pepper because McDonald's was like, that's it, And normally I get like a milkshake from there, but I was just like, no, I don't know. Why do they make me get a pop soda with every like Happy Meal? Give me something else instead, So that's interesting. I like that. And we started a huge conversation. Thanks, Kai.
Oh, anytime.
It's so nice to know we connect on pop soda.
That's just what I do,
Pop soda.
I got to put my story out there so people can relate.
Come on, Jasmine. Jasmine says pop soda seems extra.
Thank you. Thank you, Jazz.
That's hurtful.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, right?
That's hurtful. You're messing with my local dialect, and now I feel shamed.
Appreciate that, Jazz. That's just too many words.
You know what, Jason? You've got community here. You have support right here.
See, and now I played the victim in a more subtle sort of way.
Hey, you know what? I will take notes.
You have support from somebody who doesn't drink it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, you know what?
Her reference is probably about as outdated. Listen, no, we're not going to attack KFC.
Yes, we are.
KFC is
I am from Kentucky. I am the only one who is allowed to have an opinion on this. And I say KFC's trash.
Well, we did have that conversation, right? What did I vote for? Churches. I voted for Churches.
Oh God, that stuff is horrible.
Come on.
Church's chicken is disgusting.
I wouldn't know. I'm not allowed into churches because none of them are in like areas I can go into, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Church's chicken is awful, but that's ugh. Ugh. So
right.
Sorry. The last time I had it, it was just like, so you expect a certain amount of grease with your chicken, but you don't expect it for them to pour the entire bottle of like Crisco on your chicken. Like you shouldn't feel like you should go have your heart checked immediately after you finish your meal. That's like funny. That was terrible.
I don't want to get too off subject, but I was thinking to myself, like, do you ever see the commercials where they're showing like the Subway sandwich or the burger and it looks delicious? When was the last time you got anything at a fast food restaurant that looked like the commercial? And should we start making commercials with the real food, like hovers overs and flybys of like that Taco Bell pizza that came out like bent in half?
So there's a reason why somebody who actually there was and this is why I love TikTok. There's somebody that actually used to work for marketing for a lot of these food chains, and they explain some of the tricks that are used. For example, for pizzas, when they pull apart the pizza and you see like the cheese, that's not cheese, that's glue.
That's glue, right?
Like it was they put, what is it, like a toothpick or like something between like a burger, so it's just like shows like all the layers individually. Some of the cheese isn't cheese.
Right, the buns are clay. They mold them. Yeah. So
it's like they make it so that it looks like the actual sandwich, and then what you get is the hot mess that when you go there, it's like, what is this? This is your burger supreme. No, this doesn't look like the commercial.
I just want a little honesty in advertising, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, you're at this day and age, you're not going. I mean, think about it. They had to put laws into place to slow down the terms and conditions guy. Because I remember back in the 90s, terms and conditions used to be like incredibly fast. Like they had to slow them down. There was regulation that had to be put in place to slow them down because they would pass over side effects like death, and like it was nothing. And it's just like, A, how is death a side effect? But B, like, yeah, you need to slow that down so I can hear exactly what you're saying. So there's not usually going to be too much truth in advertising.
Man, how is death a side effect? It's a side effect of everything.
I mean, that's not a side effect should be something you recover from, right? Like side effects are like,
that's a great
if
point.
A side effect is like a headache, like I should be able to recover from that. If I can't, it's not a side effect. It's an end effect. Like
it's an end result.
Like end results may vary is something I probably wouldn't take that medication for, but like that should be an end result, not a side effect.
Right.
Oh, that's so funny. I never thought about that. Oh, that's really funny.
I used to work for, well, trying not to get sued by them, but I used to work for, at the time, the second largest pharmaceutical company in the world. And I did a high school internship there. And when people used to come in and pitch their drugs, like they wanted their drugs to be made by this company, and like they would pitch them. And when they used to go through the side effects like really slowly, like, oh, this could happen, oh, that could happen. I'm like, why don't you ever hear this in commercials? They're like, you do. It just goes by really quickly. I'm like, if people knew that like anal leakage was a side effect of a drug, do you think they would take it? It's like, why do you think we say it so fast? I'm like, that's messed up. But like the things that they would pitch to like get this company to like buy the drug or to like produce the drug, like you would literally come out with perks like every week of something just so that they could sell their drug. And it's crazy. It's crazy sometimes, but that's marketing, I guess.
Oh my God, I thought your wife was calling me Ezrick the whole time in the chat, but Ezrick's in there talking to her. That's hilarious.
No, oh my God. Okay. So this is kind of off topic, but I just remembered this and I have to tell you guys because I feel like you'll appreciate it.
Right.
So going back to TikTok and also jokes and bullying. So a lot of my TikToks have been taken down for bullying and harassment, and I'm pretty sure I'm actually shadow banned, which is funny because I thought you had to have a certain amount of followers to be shadow banned, but
I saw your stuff yesterday.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't even remember. What
it's not the latest stuff. It's just random stuff.
Oh God, ew.
I don't get you in my friends list. I get you in my FYP page.
Yeah, I actually get you on my FYP now too.
Wow. Okay. And the newer ones are better than the older ones for sure. But there was this one TikTok that someone posted, had nothing to do with being blind, but he had like a giant credit card. Like just like when you see those giant checks, but it was a credit card. And so they were like, oh, the total's gonna be like $4.98 or whatever. So he pulls out this giant ass card and puts the chip in the chip reader, and it like works. And the dude at the counter is like amazed. And he's like, can I see your ID? And he pulls out this giant ID. So I had stitched that, and I said, a lot of people want to know how we visually impaired people pay for things, and we actually need them blown up so that we can see it. And so this is what we do. We carry around these cards that are slightly bigger than the average card. And I don't know if it was the seriousness in which I said it or if someone took it wrong, but it got taken down. And I was like, first of all,
put that back up. I'm going to do it. That's hilarious. Put that back up. So my thing is always, if you ever make a video and you feel like it's going to be flagged, always when you post it, make sure it downloads to your actual phone so you can re-upload that. If you appeal it, I guarantee you'll win that one.
Oh, that's not true. One time there was a millennial challenge, and he said, put all your fingers down if you lost the game. By the way, some of y'all lost the game. And I was pissed, because I blind duetted it, and I was like, oh darn, I lost the game. And that was the entire TikTok, and it got taken down for bullying and harassment. So I appealed it, because I was like, I wasn't even like, man, fuck you. I was just like, oh, I lost the game. And the appeal, they were like, no, we still think this was bullying. And I was like, okay, but literally how? So I think they just don't like me, and I'm not sure what I did.
So there's somebody that doesn't like you. How about that? Or a couple people that don't like you and are focused on you.
You know what? That's
and that's the problem.
A possibility.
And if you could find those people, you could block those people.
That's true. I haven't done that.
That's usually the issue, because like TikTok themselves aren't going around going, I don't like this, I don't like this. It's a group of people. Like I heard at one point there's actually a Discord server of like people who purposely go around looking for individuals to like report, like mass report, or have their accounts banned. So like it's not always the fact that like TikTok doesn't like you, it's the fact that people keep reporting your stuff. And that's the stupid thing, because for what? Like what's the fun in that? Like you're not creative enough yourself to actually make content, so you want to go around and basically bully people for making theirs.
That's why I didn't complain, because I assumed the family of Micaiah Bryant was the ones that noticed I duetted it. And if they reported it, then I didn't even say a word, by the way, in the duet. I just listened to her. So, but if they took offense to that and they didn't want that shared, I understand that. I don't appreciate losing my account over it. Like, they could have just taken the video down. But I don't know.
Did you ever appeal for your account?
Yeah.
And TikTok stood by that?
They never responded. They never gave me an answer one way or another.
Oh, wow.
And I had a lot of content addressing a lot of things, sex workers to transgender folks to abuse. I had a lot of topics, and I guess maybe they would have just gone, who is this? Oh, wow. Like I was on the edge of every topic. So I wasn't upset. But then I was upset when I couldn't see like my friends. I couldn't message. I couldn't meet new people. Like, you all were talking about these new creators, and I was like, I don't know who that is, And so now I'm kind of excited because I get to go on and see the people you're all talking about, I love that. That's
crazy.
It is, but that's TikTok, and that's why people love it and hate it. But I didn't complain because I don't know the reason, I mean, I didn't go like I see everybody else do. And it's like everybody complains about TikTok on TikTok when they don't get the views that they want, when it's just, there's a flow. Sometimes people are watching TikTok like crazy at certain times of the day, and certain times they're not. There's certain days when I'm not on TikTok. You're not going to see me on TikTok on Saturday when I'm running around outside, So
that, and the fact that life is starting to slowly return to normal, so that people who had the ability to sit at home, like the captive audience that you once had, majority of them are probably not there anymore because their jobs have opened up, schools have opened up, life is kind of going back to normal. So you don't have a captive audience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week anymore. So
good point.
That's one thing I think that we kind of forget, because it's as a creator, I can understand the frustration of like, where the hell have my views gone? Like, I can understand the frustration of like, I was growing. Like at this point, I thought I'd be at about 10,000 followers, and I'm almost cracking 5,000 now.
Wow.
But at the same time, I also realized like, the same people who had all day to do this don't have all day to do this anymore, right? Like I know me next week, I'm getting into my internship, and I know that I won't have all day to be on TikTok or make videos back to back to back to back like I have been before. So that's part of life, right? I hope TikTok stays viable. I hope people continue to still join and become part of the community or whatever. But if they don't, or if people step away, I understand, because again, this is ultimately for fun, right? Like it's not somebody's full-time job. So
it does give us a voice and a chance to advocate for what we think is cool. I just hope like some disabled developer creates like an app like TikTok, but just that is packed with accessibility features. Like this is a app for disabled creators, and it has all the options you could ever want. I'd like to see that.
I think that's what Clubhouse was supposed to be about.
Oh, I just got my notification. Yeah, they said I was on a waiting list for a Clubhouse app, and I just got the notification. Hey, I've been approved. So I'll let you know.
I have an account. I have no idea how to work it. I don't have the time to learn a new social media. So it's just like, that ain't really my.
I gotcha. That's cool. So do you want to touch on this topic of self-victimizing? We got like 9 minutes. I don't know if you wanted to do it. We're waiting for Jasmine to come in, by the way. Hi, Jasmine. I can't really get to my iPad or my Instagram, but I did leave the link there. So if you want to join, you are free to.
I kind of need to, because I'm kind of,
I got you.
In my headspace, I'm still like, really?
Processing, right.
Really? But that's something I kind of want to talk about, I guess, when I'm in a better headspace with that.
I got you. Okay.
Otherwise, it'll come out as just negative, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm still trying to figure out, like, now I'm going to be watching myself over the course of the day to see if I do it and how I do it. Because my mom, she was an amputee, and so she did that a lot. Like, she would play the victim to get her grass cut, or to keep the, village from complaining about something. She would, definitely fall into instant victim. And seeing that as a kid, I never wanted to be that. Like, life has gone awry if you have to use your base excuse,
That's kind of where I stand on that kind of stuff, because for me, I'm like, I purposely try to run from being that in any sense, because I've seen it done, and I kind of hate watching it. I also hate watching those kind of TikToks where it's just like the whole video is feel bad for me.
Right.
But at the same time, I think there are people who do that, but I don't think that you can label an entire set of people as doing that. And I think that's where the problem for me kind of comes in.
Okay.
So as someone who I guess is an objective party, because I feel like something happened and I'm not sure what it was, I do just, based on the information that I was just given, I feel like that is kind of an unfair judgment to place on, I'm assuming the podcast, because it's literally a podcast in which we talk specifically about our disabilities and how we have adapted, Now, nobody knows how we are in the real world unless they know us personally. And I know personally, my coworker literally just told me that nobody there knows that I'm blind because I don't do the thing that I guess everyone thinks that we do.
Right.
So I try not to present myself as a victim at all anyway. Like, even last night I was kind of embarrassed because I was like, ew, like I was talking to my friend and I was like, I don't like talking about the fact that I was mistreated because it makes me look like one of those fucking sad puppies, and I'm fucking not.
Right.
So I don't think it's fair to judge a podcast that specifically talks about their struggles and say that they're playing the victim. Now, if we were to go out into the real world and shove it down everybody's throat and be like, look at us, we can't see, I feel like that would be different. I feel like this is kind of the place that we should get to go to talk about our grievances, and then we get out and we face the world and whatever.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. I think, like, we were talking about Molly Burke, and I was like, I think she's cool. Like she's not my brand. I'm not a Kardashian LA sort of person, like the glitz and glam. I like more raw and real, but I respect her for who she is. And I think to myself, like in LA, she's kind of in the mid to bottom rung of celebrity, right? Like to us in our community, she is like the example of LA glitz, glamour, blindness. But in LA, she's just Molly Burke, you know? And so we have to quit judging people for what we think they're trying to portray. We just need to learn more, you know, about somebody. Hi, Jasmine. Oh, not yet.
I heard her come into the chat.
Yeah. It's a process.
Oh,
You all
yeah,
take
Hi.
like a minute. There she is. Hi, Jasmine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a struggle trying to get in.
Yeah, everybody does. I'm sorry. Hey, everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of Inspirations Beyond Disabilities. We're here with Jay, Kai, Jason, and Jasmine, who I've been talking to in the chat, and I'm so excited to get to know her. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Nice. So much.
I'm
Everybody
just chilling.
all week, everybody has been saying, we don't know anything about Jasmine. And I was like, that's a feature. That's not a bug. We get to learn about her now. So where are you from?
I'm from Southern California, Santa Clarita.
All right. I'm glad I added Eastern time to the message then. And what you are in every chat. You're amazing. You're so great. You like all my Instagram stuff and you're all over everywhere. And I really love that. So what is it about the show that you're connecting with?
Just like everything, because I never had platforms like this growing up. And so just being able to connect with, other blind people is really fascinating and interesting, and it actually makes me feel like more welcomed and I'm not like the only one out here.
Oh, that's sweet. You're blind?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's one of
yeah,
us.
I knew that.
One of us.
One of us. Well, that's really awesome. Jay, did you have any questions?
Yeah,
I know you follow more on TikTok than I do.
Yeah. So, Giles, so the running theme today has kind of been, what got you on TikTok and what do you find, I guess, the ups of being a part of the community are. So I'm curious to know, like, what made you join TikTok and like, what do you find, I guess, good or even to be honest, bad about being part of like the blind talk community?
Wait, say that again?
Sorry. So the short-winded answer of that is like, what made you get on TikTok and like, what do you enjoy, if anything, about being like part of the blind talk community?
Yeah, finding out you're not on your own, you know?
So I always had TikTok for a while, but I've never seen anyone until I think, Jay, you started popping up. And then I started getting into your stuff and I started seeing more people come in. And that's when I knew that there was actually a blind community on TikTok, because I only have TikTok and Instagram is kind of more slower and more less communicative as TikTok is. Like you don't meet as much people as you do on TikTok.
Right.
Because everybody just jumps at you.
And that's the interesting thing. Because I know for myself with like I tried Instagram, and the hard thing about Instagram for me is that there's like TikTok I love because it's video. You can actually hear what's going on, even if you have trouble seeing. You can hear what's going on. Whereas Instagram there's a picture. If you can't make out what's going on in the picture, if you can't make out what's,
you're lost.
If there's no words on the picture, no descriptions, you're kind of on your own with that. So that's the one thing I kind of liked about Instagram. No, not Instagram, but TikTok from the very beginning. That's why most of my TikTok.
I also tried I also tried mentioning to like friends that there's something called alt text that allows us to know what pictures are.
Right.
But that still goes under the radar.
We still need people to put in that meta information though, right?
Yeah. And that's the trouble. Because I remember a lot of people at one point were talking about please put alt text on your Instagram so we know what's going on. Yeah. And in some instances, like I noticed voiceover, for those of you that use iOS, has the nice ability of being able to describe certain pictures. So sometimes voiceover can be handy with that. But to be fair, it's not something I think that long term can be done with complete accuracy. So that alt text is really needed. But it's just a matter of being able to convince people, hey, look, can you please put some type of caption or description? But that's kind of why I steer away. Like the only thing I mainly use Instagram for is probably the direct messaging, because like all of the chats are in the Instagram feed. But that's pretty much it. Like that's really it.
Yeah. Every once in a while I'll go in my Instagram feed and like, who am I? Am I following these people? Like that's weird because I have like 40 messages, but I don't really, I don't scroll my stream or anything. That's weird. I never thought about that.
Yeah. That's the thing about Instagram.
Yeah.
I also feel like if you try to go on live on Instagram, it's also a little bit of a hassle, but I know it's actually easier than TikTok because of the accessibility features. But it's still kind of like a hassle trying to like start it, stop it, and do all of those things.
Yeah, TikTok's live feature can be a journey. I've tried it on both platforms and I found, at least in my experience, that the Android side of it's a little easier to navigate, but that's probably until they update it. They try to make both look the same, which scares me. But the live feature, I've never tried live on Instagram. I've heard that there are certain text-to-speech options available for Instagram and for a few other chats, but I've never really tried. It's not available for TikTok yet, but I haven't really tried it yet. But that's something I want to look into. But I've seen a lot of your content. I've seen you use a lot of like voice to text or text to speech for your videos. Do you find that to be more beneficial than like actually speaking out directly, or what is your ultimate goal as a creator? Because it seems like you're just kind of getting started in your creation journey.
Yeah, I'm just starting. I wasn't really expecting to do anything really big yet. I don't know where I'm like really going with that as far as content wise, but I try to like at least bring out interesting topics that people can at least talk about. And I started to see more of a follow gain in the blind community. So it's at least doing something.
Yeah.
Ezrick is on your side when it comes to the lives. He says the Instagram is way better. And maybe Jay's wife says, hi, Jasmine.
Yeah, things are always in the chat. So Jazz, I understand you're in school. What are you going to school for? And if you know, because a lot of times we may not know, but like what's your ultimate like career goal?
So I started off wanting to go through technology because I wanted to create more apps specifically for us. And being blind has a plus advantage with that because we actually know what we want to see in our apps. And a lot of the apps that I try to use for like, money readers or like paper readers or stuff, a lot of them don't really work as easy as they say they do.
True.
And so I kind of wanted to go into that field to try to help that. And but I found that I like writing a little bit more, and writing actually allows me to speak my story too, to write, to like be in positions of different characters and stuff. And I've been writing for like since I was in 6th grade. And I think it was like my mom that I was talking to who said like you should go into writing because I'm really good at it.
That's awesome. Do you know what genre of music, what genre of writing you want to go into?
I want to go into fiction because I'm actually good at writing different genres.
Really?
Yeah, I have this one app called Daily Prompt that I started using last year by end of July. And from then to like December, I was writing, posting, writing, posting. And so I have like over 200 like short stories and poems on there because the prompts are actually not, basic. They're actually really thought-provoking. And so I have like a good collection of like short stories that I'm actually planning on turning into a book. My first book.
That's awesome.
But also I'm actually going to be in this other book with the Freedom Writers. I'm not sure if anybody heard of them before.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got to meet them actually through my college. So I was taking a political science class around March, and he was giving like extra credit, and I was thinking like I don't really need extra credit because we're not really doing a lot of assignments for this class. But when I saw their name pop out, I was curious to see what they were going to talk about. And I go in, and it's like a little Zoom meeting that they hosted at my college. And everybody was typing in the chats, and I joined in, and somebody what I commented, and they liked what I said, and they were asking me if I wanted to be in the book, in this book process that they're going through. And I said, yeah, what is it about? And so they were telling me everything, and that's when I said yeah, and I'm in the book process right now.
It's incredible. That's
actually a blind writer. I think this is amazing. I always wanted to write, but I just don't have the patience to do it with my sight.
After school, I'm afraid to keep writing. Like all of my writing right now are papers and theses and stuff like that. So it's nice to actually
I am like the complete opposite of that. Like if I'm writing academically, like I'm like, okay, what do I have to write? What do I have to include? And I'm kind of like struggling to write because it's not something that I really want to write, but have to.
Right.
And so writing academically is a little bit more harder and challenging.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got this opportunity to actually write my own story, and I talk about, my challenges growing up as a blind person. And I also talk about, me wanting to become an advocate for the community and try to change the world in the future for us.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff out there, but there's not a lot.
Absolutely. So, Jazz, what condition do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to backtrack. Thank you, Jay.
So I have a brain cancer called optic pathway glioma. And so I had it since I was born. But I was diagnosed when I was 7. So when I was 7, I started going to Children's Hospital in LA, and I started getting chemotherapy for like I think almost 5 years.
Wow.
until it's stabilized. I still have it, but it's not growing, it's not shrinking, it's not doing anything. So technically they call it technically I'm a cancer survivor because it's not growing or shrinking.
Right.
But I still do checkups so they can monitor it.
Thank you for that.
I think you're the first person. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. But since like I think around 2014, I've been off of chemotherapy, and I've been fine. I've been healthy. I got my energy back because that takes a lot of energy out of you.
I can imagine, yeah.
But then I started actually going blind around 10 when I was 10 years old in 5th grade because I had the flu, and I think this was over like Christmas break. And I remember like waking up one night, and I think I had like a nightlight on, couldn't see that. I was looking out the window to try to see the street lights, couldn't see that. I went into the bathroom, couldn't see those lights. And I had this like moment where I said to myself, I think I'm just tired. And I went back to sleep, woke up, and it didn't change. And so I went to the hospital for 3 days, and for some reason it just came back. All of it came back as much as I had, but since then it decreased over time. So it was kind of like a weird moment that happened when I thought like this is going to be my reality. Like I'm completely blind.
Right. And so when you started to lose your vision, like was that something that they knew like how to get you like help and services, or was that something that you kind of had to like, did you have support?
So luckily, when I was, so I actually, they actually taught me how to use Braille when I was in 3rd grade. And then by 4th grade, they taught me how to use a cane. So I was pretty much prepared, but they kept training me years after until I felt comfortable, especially like with using a cane. But you know, when I had to use a cane, it was actually just easy. I kept my practice up, and so I was pretty much prepared by the time that my vision started decreasing. Which was a good thing because I know I heard from like a lot of other people that they said, you know, they haven't learned Braille or they refuse to learn how to use a cane and stuff like that.
Right.
Because growing up, I used CCTVs and I used like magnifiers that didn't really work. Because I actually do remember going from like large print textbooks to like just regular print and having to use the CCTV for that, to learning Braille. And then like I think by 7th grade, when you know you have to go to 6 different classes and can't, you know, bring a big machine with you everywhere.
Right. That's
when I transitioned to Braille devices.
I was one of those people that like I refused to learn Braille when they taught it to me or wanted to teach it to me, and I kind of wish I learned it now because it's a valuable piece of it's a valuable skill to know, especially when you're in many places and you can't just pull out your phone and use Seeing AI or whatever other AI device.
Or when Seeing AI is not accurate.
Right. That's a big thing. So in school now, you mentioned first of how far along are you in school?
I'm actually starting my 2nd year in a couple of days. Cool. on Monday.
Awesome. So what do you find it difficult being in school as a person, as a VIP? Like, do you find it difficult with like teachers or navigating campus or things like that?
So I haven't been on campus yet.
Mm-hmm.
But like as far as being online, I think it's a little bit I think it's a little bit difficult because you have to make sure your teachers know how much you can see, what accommodations you need. And then with the disability office, they tell you to contact them back like closer towards the semester. And then you kind of have to get in a mindset that everything has to be like months in advance, especially like with me going into like something like math this coming semester. I'm gonna need Braille textbooks and stuff. And so getting stuff in Braille takes like a good month or two to make sure you have everything.
Wow.
So
I've
always go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so I've always been in a mindset where I have to prepare, show, talk to people that I need these accommodations. And I actually emailed my teachers again, like a good list of things that would help me and would help them understand how I work and how I get my homework assignments done and everything.
Right. So with being primarily online, I can relate to that because my school is primarily online too. Do you find it, because for me, I'll just be like this, like for me, I found it a bit easier because there's a lot of like electronic textbooks which allow for like text to speech. Does your school allow for like those electronic textbooks, like the e-reader textbooks?
Yeah, so actually there's a center called the ARC Center, the Accommodations Resource Center at my college. And somebody actually takes like my English stories and anything that I need to read and that's like accessible, they make it into a Word doc for me to read it. And that way also if I have to like copy and paste like references and stuff, I can easily do that because it's a Word document. I also use something called Bookshare to download all my books. And I have a Victor Reader to play it and read it back to me. So yeah, I have different things that I can use.
Nice. Okay. I want to know more about Victor Reader actually.
So Victor Reader, I also got introduced to this when I was in junior high when I started using my Braille devices. It's like a little it's kind of like a media player, but it's for books. There's actually one called the Victor Reader Stream where you can connect to the internet, pull stuff off, pull articles and podcasts and different medias off from the internet. But you can also download books from Bookshare or I think NVDA is on there or something like that. And so you have like a little SD card that pops in and out at the top of it. And that stores all your books and information on there. And so you can download all of your textbooks or books like you like to read on there, articles, whatever, and you can read it on the go even without Wi-Fi.
I like that. I
do too, yeah.
I like that.
So Jasmine, what do you got against pop soda?
I feel like just the idea of adding pop either before soda or after soda is too much.
Thank you.
Like I just call it soda.
Thank you.
That's it.
Ojo, see? That's the way it's supposed to be pronounced.
I'm insulted now. I'm just totally. I
Yeah,
feel
I'm upset.
defeated and insulted.
I feel like I have somebody on my side on this episode, so I appreciate that.
Everyone is on your side in the chat, Jay. Everyone.
I feel like
That's
we need a
because
support
it's New
group.
York and Philly.
It's just soda.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, and for the record, Jay, your wife did mention in the comment, you are free to spend as much time as you want living on your own.
Is that why she came banging on the door? Like, I don't know if y'all heard it, and I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but she was knocking on the door at one point because I said something, and I could hear her just knocking on the door. Like, don't think you can sit in there with the door locked. So welcome to today's special 12-hour edition of because I'm probably not going on the other side of that door anytime soon. But yeah. Oh goodness.
It's so much. There's so much involved with just disabilities and just trying to maintain. It takes our whole life just to feel equal sometimes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I swear to
really
God, I go to sleep and I'm like, all right, finally, I don't have to be blind for 8 hours. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what I aim for. So how are things in California, Jasmine? How does the state treat you? Do they accommodate you well? Do they serve you well? Do they have services that you use that you could tell others about?
Yeah, they actually have a lot of programs and stuff down here. Like before COVID, I actually went to a summer program that actually trains like students, whether if you're actually in high school or if you're in college or whatever. They teach you, like more technology. They teach you mobility. They teach you how to live independently, how to cook, clean, do laundry, and they also teach you how to apply for jobs and how to do job searching, how to do house hunting, searching, and trying to like budget your money and stuff. They have like a bunch of different activities that prepare you for life after school. And so I've been there for 2 years. My first year was 2018 when I went. And then I went 2019. In 2019. They call it the STEP program. This is at Wayfinder out here. They call it the STEP program, Student Transition and Employment Program.
Like that.
And so they actually have like 2 levels. They call it Step 1 and Step 2. Step 1 is like the training level where they teach you how to be independent. And then Step 1 is also like broken off into 2 pieces because you can choose to stay for the whole summer. But for people who at least want to try to get into the program little by little, they can do like the 3-week portion first and then the 4-week portion after. And the 4-week is basically just a continuation for people who want to continue. You get more experiences going out into the city and doing different things, more things than they teach you in the first 3 weeks. But
Gotcha.
the second part, Step 2, when I think you have to be 18 to be in Step 2 because they actually employ you for the summer. And so you're working for Wayfinder, but you're also volunteering at whatever company you're going to. So for me, I actually got the opportunity to be 17 and had the opportunity to be in Step 2 to work. I just had to get like work permits and stuff like that. But so I worked for Wayfinder, but I went all the way out to the Brown Institute. And it was kind of like, it was almost like a 9-to-5 job every single day. But we did it for like 4 days of the week, and then on Fridays would be like a step 2 meet and greet, and we would talk about different things. And so when I was still in high school, I was able to get more experience with jobs and how they worked, the application process. We also had like a day where we where they did Dress for Success. So we got to go to, I think, like Macy's and other businesses and try on business attire. So they do a lot. And yeah, like when I was in high school, I was able to also get volunteer credit from working at the Brown Institute. And I actually enjoyed it, because I think a lot of people think, when you're getting used to working at jobs, it's kind of like eye rolling, like, why would you like it type of thing.
Yeah.
But for me, when I was at the Brown Institute, I wasn't stuck in like a small room doing paperwork or shredding papers or doing whatever I could. I was actually everywhere where I was needed. And so I got to see different people different times a day, and I actually liked it. So, and it kind of confirmed that, I wanted to do stuff for the blind community and not just like for myself or for other sighted people. And so that's why I try to get myself out there within the community.
I like that.
You have to, right? Hey, Jasmine, where can we find you socially?
So I'm on Instagram at happily blind with no eyes, and that's a joke.
I never caught that until just now.
That's hilarious,
I was like,
right?
Happily blind with no eyes.
I remember looking at her name. I'm like, who's Happily? I'm like, it's Happly. I'm like, I never thought about that. That has no eyes in it.
I never noticed it.
Happily blind with no eyes.
Wow. I really like that. That's very clever.
It is clever.
I enjoy that.
And then on TikTok, I'm at your blind friend 19.
That's perfect. Thank you for being here, Jasmine.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I do have a question for Kai. Do you want to recant any of your Colonel Sanders statements?
Absolutely the fuck not. I will not.
You realize you're losing a friend at this point.
Yes, I do. Yeah. You know what, though? We're bonding now. I think we're mending things.
Right. Okay. I hope so. I hope so. I stand with you, but I think it's a colonel by colonel basis. So there you go. There's my compromise. Hey Jay, where can people find you?
People can find me online at on TikTok, Instagram at the Baritone Blurred, on Twitter at Baritone Blurred.
I love it. How about you, Kai?
You can find me on TikTok at Kai's Fly. You can find me on Spotify at Unsubscribe. I'm sorry, any podcast platform. Well, any. You know what? I'm sure you'll find it. If you're listening to this, I'm sure you can listen to that. Those are really the only important ones, if we're being honest.
All right. And you can find me on Public Access Pod, TikTok, and where else is that? Twitter. Thank you. God, I lose my. I'm so involved in what Jasmine was saying. I'm so interested in so much of it. I just lost my train of thought. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the live feeds, and join us next week for another great episode. Right? Yeah. Yay!
Yay! Woo! How cool is this?
This is cool. I'm so happy. Bye.